The Super Media Bros podcast is a founding member of the OddPods Media Network.
Super Media Bros.
Like the sound of my voice, Richie?
I do. I'm fucking leaving that in too. I'm leaving that shit in. Well, because we always leave in with.
That's got to be the intro.
That's
got to be the intro.
No, it is.
As soon as you come out of your song.
No, it is. Welcome to episode 227 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Richie, and today I am joined by two really good friends of mine from the OddPods Media Network. If you haven't listened to them before, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go do that shit.
Shame on you.
Yes, big time shame on you. I've got Sam from the 500 Section Lounge and Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast. What is going on, gentlemen?
Hello.
What is going on? That is the best way to ask it. Not what's up or what's going on. It's what is going on.
That's right.
I love that.
Well, we have a drop that I don't even remember who it is. And we haven't used it in a long time, but it's been memed to death, and it's this real metal breakdown. It's what the fuck is going on, and it's just the best shit ever.
Is it the Casey Kasem drop? The what the hell's going on here?
God, no. I wish you guys are not probably even gonna hear it, but I'm doing it so people that are out there in the internet land can fucking hear it. What the fuck is going on? And it's metal as fuck. So when you guys listen back, you're going to be like, oh, what the fuck? But that got memed to death, God, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And the video that it got used in was terrible. It's pretty terrible. So,
Richie, I'm gonna try something real quick and see if you can hear this. And if you can't, you're just gonna have to edit this out of your episode. But this is the drop I was referring to.
What the hell's going on here? Good golly, Miss Molly.
Casey Kasem.
Yeah, no, I know that one is pretty good, dude. And so we have another one. I'm glad everybody that's listening is still listening. Jesus, we have one that is.
You assume they are.
Yeah, it's Richard Simmons, and he's I don't know where he's at. It's on the set of some video he's shooting, and he's just fuck, and that's it. Yeah. It's just him cussing it. It's the first time I've ever heard Richard Simmons cuss ever, and I fell out. I died. I died everywhere that day. It was the greatest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
I feel like this is indicative of where this episode's going to go, but I'm going to sidebar your sidebar and tell you that I saw Garth Brooks in Las Vegas in like 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there. And it was like a 1,300 seater. It was the theater at Wynn. Okay, so this was not your usual Garth Brooks thing. And the whole time they were going to come out, there was no curtain in front of the stage, no nothing. There was literally a guitar sitting on a stand. And I thought, wow, this is going to be some next level Garth stuff. Like the whole band's going to appear and everything, you know? Yeah. And then he came out and picked up his guitar, and the entire show was just him and a guitar. Like no band, no backing tracks, no nothing. Whole show was just Garth Brooks and a guitar. Dude came out wearing work boots, backwards hat, flannel, you know, and just played guitar and sang. But anyways, like a song in between songs, he said the F word, and I literally was like, Garth said an F. I was just shocked that Garth Brooks said an F word.
Party on, Garth.
Yeah. Did the room, was there a collective gasp?
Yeah, kind of. There was some people looking at each other like, did Garth just say an F? Yeah.
He did. Wow.
Yeah.
See, and Garth just played, I want to say last week or the week before, down here in Baton Rouge. And
yeah, you're damn right he did.
He played at fucking Death Valley, man. And
he was in Notre Dame just a week before that, I think, too.
No shit.
Garth's a badass. If you haven't treated yourself to a Garth show, you need to.
Oh, I was talking about that the other day with Devin and Alex. I was like, I'd definitely go catch him like in concert.
So I've got a quick story. It does not involve me, but it involves my brother and his girlfriend. Well, his wife now, but it was his girlfriend then. There was a county fair, and we grew up right on the Indiana-Ohio border. Basically, we were 5 miles into Indiana, and he met his wife who lived like 4 miles into Ohio. So he'd go over there all the time, and they had a county fair. And, county fairs always have like music and stuff like each day of the week or whatever. And my sister-in-law wanted to go see the country singer that was there. And this was 92 or 3, maybe 1992 or 3. And it was like $10 to see this performer. And he says, I'm not paying $10 for somebody I've never heard. And it was Garth Brooks.
Holy shit.
I know y'all love Scrubs. That's when the opera singer from Mistake comes in.
Well, then for, I believe, their anniversary last year, he took my sister-in-law to Garth Brooks in Indianapolis, and he paid more than $10 a ticket.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the
thing, man. Though Garth isn't even outrageous, though.
No, no, not at all.
Like he'll just pay. He asks a fair price and then rips the place down.
Oh yeah,
rips the place down. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Down over here at that concert, he set fucking Richter scale off down here. They actually had a seismologist on site. Like, well, we have a seismology place like right up the road from there, and I don't remember the reading, but it was enough like the crowd roar, like because Death Valley, for those of y'all out there that don't know, houses the LSU Tigers, and being from Louisiana, if you're not a Saints fan, you're a diehard Tigers fan, and vice versa. But it's also okay to be both. I don't know any New Orleans Pelicans fans, but that's a different story. However, this stadium fits over 100,000 people. So I have two things to say about it. One, that's a lot of fucking people making a lot of noise for Garth Brooks. And two, why the fuck hasn't WrestleMania come there? Just saying.
I've been to 2 WrestleManias and I've seen Garth like 7 times, so I'm good on all those bases.
Yeah, I've been to
and I've seen Garth in a venue where I saw a WrestleMania. Because WrestleMania 23 was at Ford Field. You're damn right, Sam. Good call. Yeah. Hey, at least something good happens in Ford Field every so often.
Somebody has a good time there.
Damn right.
We went to see Garth in like the second week of February 2020 in Ford Field, which we now know was a super spreader event. That night we had no idea. 2 weeks later, the whole state's on lockdown, and we're like, I think we did it. I think it was us.
Don't tell them we were there.
Yeah. Just rolling the damn you, Garth.
Yeah. Like, let me take down all those Facebook memories. We weren't there.
Yeah. No, I was laughing at Sam about $10 a ticket. I'm not paying $10 to see whatever. And then he pays more than that for the Garth Brooks show. And secretly, on just his ticket alone, Garth Brooks has the go fuck yourself fee that he's paying to get in there. It's like
the really fee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you've been talking shit. Here you go. It just slides it.
The DG fee, the doubting Garth.
Yeah. Leave these at will call. So
yeah.
So everybody out there listening, Sam and Russ host 2 very different styled shows, but if you can't tell, we all have the same fucking sense of humor, like 13-year-old children at this point, or giant man children.
Of course.
Yeah.
Some might say it's like
children.
I love it. Some might say it's like family.
Yeah. So exactly. So before we get into the rest of everything, if you guys want to give everybody out there listening, like, what is your show as far as what it entails and what you accomplish with it, and things of that sort?
I yield the floor to the 500 section lounge.
Well,
I yielded before you could yield.
I yield my time, motherfucker.
Actually, what I was gonna do, Russ, was say, Russ, do you want me to go first?
No. Reading my mind.
That's right. The 500 section lounge. People get it misconstrued for a sports show, and the only reason we have 500 section in the name is because we started as a sports show, but then found that we were finding guests that were just absolutely awesome guests, but they had nothing to do with sports. We still love sports, so we keep the 500 section there, but we changed to the lounge because we have legendary conversations from sports to history and everything in between. So I literally had a children's book author and illustrator a couple of weeks back. And tomorrow we're getting ready to talk to a hamburger historian. I mean, come on. We vary all over the place.
That sounds so fucking cool, though. Like a hamburger historian? How does that? I mean, I know you haven't talked to it, but how does that even work? That's fascinating.
He's coming back.
Oh my God.
A return. So we talked to him. We had the history of the hamburger sandwich the first time he was on.
Oh, that sounds fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a midweek release of the old. Well, I can't do that. Oh well. Well, maybe I'll link that out tomorrow. Here I am figuring out what I'm gonna do.
I was gonna say, please continue to work through your release schedule.
I started thinking that we used to record a few days in advance, so I thought I had a few days, and then I'm like, no, it comes out Tuesday. I can't. Nope. Just going in dry.
Yeah. So by the time this episode is airing, you have already released this thing, and
yeah.
So Sam, how about that hamburger historian?
Fantastic. He was great.
There you go.
For a second time.
Sweet.
But yeah, we will talk to anybody as long as we can have a conversation. We don't talk politics. We don't talk, any current events, because you know what? There's so much of that out there already. We want a good conversation with somebody about things that they do with their life or things they've done, or, how they're using their celebrity to do things. It's a great time talking. And we have these conversations too, to open and close too. So we sandwich an awesome guest around or in between a couple of segments where we're just having a good time and hanging out. We're three dads,
From another host on the outside looking in, the biggest compliment I can pay you is that some months ago, one time at 8 p.m. on a Sunday, you sent me a text and was like, hey, is there any way you can come on the show right now? And I was like, I can, but what are we talking about? And you were like, we're just going to talk. And I was like, okay. And we had the most engaging conversation, not through any doing of mine.
Well, I think that day we talked about Black Friday and stuff like that's. That's what we brought. It ended up. Other things stemmed from it, but that's what we want to do is we want to have a conversation much like that with any guest. We've had some people like Courtney Gaines. If you're familiar with Courtney Gaines, a movie actor, we had that similar conversation. We ended up talking about Wrigley Field in that conversation with Courtney Gaines. So we make it just a conversation. Yeah, we ask questions. Yeah, we have a lot of things we're interested in, bugging this person about. But you know what? We're just going to have a regular conversation too. So,
and that's appealing about your show, honestly, because I think deep down, most people listen to podcasts because they kind of want to be a fly on the wall for some of these conversations, and that's why I listen, to podcasts in general. And
my fly on the wall is just wearing a wire so people can hear the conversation.
The biggest compliment we get from people is when they say, I was listening to your episode and I was talking back to the whole thing. And it's like, yes, that's
the goal.
Exactly what we want.
That is the goal.
And as far as the pitch goes on Infectious Groove, the thing I can call back to what Sam said about there's enough of that out there already. With politics and whatnot. My approach when we started the Infectious Groove podcast was there is more than enough of this is the most overrated album ever. These are the most overrated singers ever. Here's the thing. Not only is there already enough of that out there, but I have spent enough time, DJing weddings and everything from weddings to wakes. Okay. And I have found that no matter how much you mega loathe a song or an artist, it is someone's favorite somewhere.
We've talked about that before, Russ.
Yeah. And I just, our show is growing at a fine clip, but we could get so many more, hot take clicks, I guess is the way that I want to say it, here's the 5 most overrated Journey songs ever. And, and then that way people, everybody gets all riled up and interacts. And I don't want to do that. What is the harm in underrated? Why not have a conversation about things more people should know? instead of talking about all the things that, too many people know about. So that's how we started the show was we were like, we're always talking to people about band, and it's not just, we're right. We know everything about music. And so we're going to tell you what you should listen to. This is just, hey, we're going to put out positive things. Even when we do episodes like we do album reviews, every other episode of ours is an album review. And we always find a positive spin to put on the record. Like it's not just, this is the worst thing ever. It's okay. This isn't for me. And here's why. And we always are like, here's who it would be for.
I remember in the recent past, there was a review that you guys did that you just absolutely was beside yourself in needing to do, but yet you still put the positive spin on that because that's the obligation you made to yourself. There's
so much negative in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. There just is, and I just don't need to contribute to it. Sure, I have hard opinions on things, but I try not to share them on the show as far as anything that I just feel like there's so much negative out in the world. So what we do every week is we try hard to put a positive spin on almost everything that we talk about. And actually, I don't even think you guys know this. We have a new topic that we're going to introduce in probably a week after this episode comes out.
Are we getting insider information?
Well, I think kind of. It depends on when this all falls out. This may have already been announced on my show, but we're going to start doing cover battles. So things like "Because the Night" by made very famous by 10,000 Maniacs, but Bruce Springsteen wrote it and Patti Smith covered it as well. So we're going to talk about, but again, it's not just the way we're going to do it is not, this person wrote it and they're the boss and that's all there is to it. And the cover is atrocious and anybody who likes this is dumb. It's going to be literally, what do you like about the cover? What do you like about the original? And why do you personally prefer one or the other?
Can I suggest one for you?
I have a huge list, but yes.
And you may already have it then. Billy Joel and Garth Brooks, Shameless.
Yeah, it's already on the list.
Okay.
You kidding me?
I would hope so. But
I will yet again sidebar. Do you know how Garth Brooks came into covering that song?
I think I've heard the story, but I don't recall it. Like,
do you remember the Columbia Record Club? Where they used to set 12 CDs for 1 penny?
Mm-hmm.
How they would get you on those is if you weren't paying attention in the mail after you got your 10 free CDs and your
$40 a CD.
Correct. Right. They would get you with those monthly picks. Right. Mm-hmm. Garth went out on tour and came back to like 4 months of the $40 CDs sitting in his mailbox. It was like, son of a bitch. Now I'm going to pay for all these CDs. Right. And the one that caught his attention was Stormfront by Billy Joel, because that's the record with the big single was We Didn't Start the Fire is off that record. Yep. And Garth was like, I'm so sick of that song. I'm going to listen to the rest of that record. And on that record is the original version of Shameless. And he called Billy Joel's manager and was like, hey, is it cool if I covered this on my next record? And they said, well, you can make it a single. Billy's not going to make it a single. He doesn't even like that song. And Garth was like, are you kidding me? This is one of the best songs I've ever heard.
I was going to say, because Billy Joel does a great job on it.
Yeah. And now he didn't even do it on the Stormfront tour because he didn't like the song all that much.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. I'm talking about just the song in general. Like that, when he does it, it's really good. Yeah. But Garth did one heck of a job on it too.
Yeah, I concur. It's on my favorite Garth Brooks record, Rope in the Wind.
There we go.
So, and you're getting a little sample of it now. This is what we do on my show. We talk about things in a positive way. No, the point being that we don't ever go, well, if you like Garth's version, you're an idiot. Or if you like Billy's version, shame on you. We go, here's the positive things about this. Like the whether you hate country music and you love Billy Joel or vice versa, the idea is like the genesis of that idea and how big of a hit that became, and Billy Joel does it more now. That is more interesting to us than definitively saying you're an idiot if you like this version or that version.
Think about that. The original artist only does it now because somebody redid it.
Yeah. Elvis Aaron Presley did that for a lot of folks. A lot of folks started doing their own material again because of Elvis. But yeah, and so to close up my elevator pitch, if you go to infectiousgroovepodcast.com, everything you could want to know. And actually, if you want to know more about all three of these shows, you could in fact go to oddpodsmedia.com, where we treat everyone like friends and family.
Yeah.
That was an amazing tie-in.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've done this before.
Yeah.
It is. It's almost as if I'm over 100 episodes in myself.
Yeah. I think that's for all of us. Holy shit. And just scroll to the show notes of this episode and links to literally all of this shit is there. We tell you every fucking week to go there, and you're not doing it. Why the fuck are you not doing it? And you might do it. You might be doing it.
Richie said enough.
I did say enough.
There's no shock to that.
No.
I'm shooketh.
That's what I was going to say. You're probably going to hear a lot more of that here, obviously, from both gentlemen, because even though Infectious Groove does carry the explicit tag, they have to earn that explicit tag. And Sam's show is PG as it gets, and that is a good thing, because
there are some exceptions though, Richie.
Sure,
and if you have ever listened, or if you're interested, you can find the ones that aren't, because the cover art is blue.
Yep. I was just to get
blue material.
Just getting
whereas it's normally green. So we always put a disclaimer on there too. Depending on the topic or whatever, we'll put a disclaimer in the show notes too.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind the family friendly. There actually is a couple reasons. It's so easy to be funny by cursing. I love cursing. Like, it's my second to third favorite thing to do all time.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. But I'm a teacher as well by day, so I've got that teacher mentality of I can turn it on or flip the switch, basically.
Yep.
And my wife then said that when we started. I hate saying my son was caught, but the teacher heard him listening to our podcast. Ooh. And I had already started the show with the I'm not going to curse mentality, because I wanted more people to be able to listen to it. And so that kind of solidified that it was, we're going to stay that way. And it's, hey, I don't damn anybody that wants to run rampant on the language. I don't care. That's fine. We just choose that. And I think we have an awesome time too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's funny on my show. What's weird is I consciously duck the F word when I'm speaking on my show, and for really no reason. I just kind of do. And then we have Michelle, who uses it as definitely is an emphatic point. Like, if it comes out of Michelle's mouth, you're like, oh, she means what she's saying, right? And then we have Kyle, and I mean zero disrespect for Kyle. Kyle will use it as a comma. In a sentence.
Right.
It is a sentence enhancer.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah. So you have three totally different styles from all of us on the show. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think it's all in stride. You know what I mean? It's a preference, and most people, if they don't like the fact that there are no curse words, which I'd be shocked if there were many, they're free to listen to whatever. I want everybody to listen to us, but I just can't do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Off the air? Oh yeah.
Oh, we know.
Let her rip.
We know. off the air. Yeah. We know. Sam off the air likes to use what SpongeBob SquarePants refers to as sentence enhancers, Patrick.
That's right. I enhance. Yeah. Super Troopers enhance.
Shit, yeah.
Enhance.
So one of the ideas bringing y'all onto this show was, again, to give everybody out there kind of a sample of what each show brings to the table, whereas the conversational pieces and then the musically intuitive conversational pieces. However, you both have segments in your show that you do regularly. And I was sitting there thinking, like, we came together and it's just like, all right, let's do this. What are we going to do? This, absolutely, just bullshit, because, again, this is a no-brainer. Throw the three of us in a room and we'll just start talking about anything. However, the segments that you guys do on your respective shows are a lot of fun, because it makes you laugh with the Shenanigans portion on 500 Section Lounge. And then on Infectious Groove, I enjoy the shit out of the Jammy Jam, because I'll sit there and go, wait, I haven't heard that song in years, or I haven't heard that album in years. And I'll just get reminded, hey, this exists. What the fuck am I doing with my time? going to listen to this album. So I thought it'd be cool if we kind of did that here and played around with Shenanigans and figuring out what the Jammy Jams are. Because
right on.
When you said that, I was like, light bulb went the fuck off in my head.
Yeah, I think we absolutely it's something we need to work on there, Rich. We need to do that.
Yeah, we should. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back and play some Shenanigans and find out what our Jammy Jams are. You're listening to the Super Media Bros podcast on the OddPods Media Network. Please don't leave. Gentlemen, Father's Day is just around the corner and our friends at Manscaped are here to ensure that all the father figures out there are looking like daddy material this June. Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, which includes their signature Lawnmower 4.0, is the perfect bundle to tackle any and all old man hair from head to toe. This right here, this is no dad joke. Treat him and yourself and join the 4 million other men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Get 20% off plus free shipping with our code SUPER at manscaped.com. Trust me, your dad bod will thank you. Manscaped is designed with fathers in mind, and the Performance Package 4.0 is here just in time for your dad's special day. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a shed travel bag to hold his goodies.
If I get my dad this for Father's Day, will he, talk to me?
Yeah. First off, let me start by saying the Lawnmower 4.0 will be the official MVP of Father's Day. Has your dad been using the same trimmer for his body and face? Bruh, throw that shit out the window and give him the upgrade he deserves.
Like a new mom?
Oh, not exactly. But wait, there's more. Manscaped just launched their brand new Boxers 2.0 that are, dare I say, the best boxers ever. We all know dads love their comfort. With summer just around the corner, the Boxers 2.0 are here to save every father from the uncomfortable heat. These new boxers are packed with the revolutionary features that include the Jewel Pouch. Designed to cradle his boys in their own special space. This right here is a game changer. Whether he's mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, or golfing in the sun, or finding a better sun in general.
Wait, what?
These moisture-wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat. Dads, buy this for yourself. Sons, buy this for you and your dad. Ladies, buy this for your man. Get 20% off and free shipping with our code SUPER at manscaped.com. Again, that is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using our code SUPER. Shake what your mama gave you? Nah, fam, shake what your daddy gave you.
Hey, you there. We've got a question for you. Are you tired of clickbait stories and the loudest voices driving discussions in culture and entertainment?
If so, I'm Dylan.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Corey. And we host the podcast From the Middle. We're middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with points of view somewhere in the middle.
We take a more reasonable and centrist approach in our discussions covering genres like comedy, culture, entertainment, and interviews with really interesting folks like business owners, comic creators, doctors, news anchors, New York Times best-selling illustrators, professional stand-up comics, and more. We really value a relaxed and conversational podcast, one that we hope is so fun and laid back, you'll forget you're not actually hanging out with us.
So search at From the Mid Pod, just like it sounds, or check us out everywhere you can find podcasts.
All right, and we're back on the Super Media Bros, the only podcast that has its shit together and shares it with all of its friends and family. Now, we're back with Russ and Sam, and we're going to play some fucking Shenanigans, and we're going to also do some Jammy Jams because, fuck it, we're doing it live.
No, different show.
Welcome back to Inside Edition with your host Richie.
That's right, Dick. I go by Dick if that's the case. I will use every variation of my name except for Ricky.
Solid.
Because the only
Just
Ricky
call me
that
Sam.
Yeah. Don't call me Shirley. Shirley, you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
You know what? You know how? Okay, so you know how that gets quoted all the time, and rightfully so, from Airplane. You know what my favorite part in Airplane is that no one ever gives any respect is we have to take her to a hospital. What is it? Well, it's a big building with lots of sick people, but that doesn't matter right now.
Shit.
I love dumb jokes like that. Like those make me just happy. I mean, they do. I don't know.
This is going a little further out, but I don't know if you guys are Naked Gun fans, but anytime someone emphatically says, I love it, like, oh, I love it, I always go, I'm swimming in raw sewage and I love it.
Yes.
I can tell you stories about how that has not gone over. Like people are like, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I said I'm swimming in raw sewage.
Russ,
yeah, I did. I said enough. I did say enough. I save that for Super Media Brothers.
Yes.
The F's.
So Russ, let's get into some Jammy Jams, my dude.
Absolutely. So on the Infectious Groove podcast, every single week, one of the segments that we do is our Jammy Jams, and we start it as such.
Our Jammies.
Hell yeah.
And you hear the explosion and the end there. The beginning is me saying our Jammy, and then that's Michael Joseph Jackson saying jam, because, hero and all. So use him every single week on the show. And what we do is we just go through the three of us, and it's not, again, I labored this point earlier, but it's never, this is what you should be listening to, or this is the hot new stuff, or anything like that. It's just what we've been listening to and why. So I will go through it on this segment as if we were doing it on the Infectious Groove podcast. And on my show, we always start with me, which, by the way, in our the episode forthcoming, Michelle said, why don't we ever start with me? And I said, well, we're 120 some episodes in and we've never started with you. So I don't know why we would now. And then she wasn't ready. Yeah. And then she wasn't ready when it was her turn. So, as it happens for me, yeah, I know it's a crazy world. For me, where I have been going the past couple of weeks is somehow I got myself on this huge Ozzy kick, and not all Ozzy. Okay, I'm going real specific with this. So when Randy Rhoads passed away, Ozzy pretty much decided that at the time, he said he was never going to do the Randy Rhoads material ever again. And for a person who only had 2 solo records out with Randy Rhoads, and then his entire career prior to that was all Black Sabbath, it's like, okay, well, so then Black Sabbath it is, right? He had a live album in the can with Randy Rhoads, and the record label was like, hell yes, we have this live album in the can and that dude just died, money signs, we're gonna, yeah. And so Ozzy said, well, no, I'm going to block the release of that. And they said, okay, well, you owe us a live record. This whole thing ends up in court, and the resolve of it was that they said, well, you have to cut a live record, period. So Ozzy put together his core band that he had at the time, but he grabbed Brad Gillis for guitar. And if anybody happens to be familiar with that name, Brad Gillis would later go on to be in Night Ranger. So the guy who's playing on Sister Christian, ends up in Ozzy's band years before that. They did 2 shows, one in LA and one in New York. And all they did was Black Sabbath. Because again, at the time, Ozzy said he was never going to do, Crazy Train, I Don't Know, Flying High Again, all that stuff. So those versions of the Black Sabbath songs, in my opinion, are the best versions of Black Sabbath songs that exist. And I say that with no disrespect to Tony Iommi or Geezer Butler or Bill Ward, but everybody in that band is playing like their life depends on it, because they have to do well enough to make this record good enough for the record label to see value and release it, instead of defacing Randy's name so quickly. Right. Mm-hmm. So it resulted in a live album from Ozzy called Speak of the Devil. And it is, in my opinion, every song on there is the best. Whatever Black Sabbath song you love, Snowblind, War Pigs, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, Fairies Wear Boots, The Wizard, Sweet Leaf, whatever your favorite Black Sabbath song is, in my opinion, the best version of it that exists is on that album. So I really went down this rabbit hole with Ozzy and just was head over heels with that record. And I've heard it a million times, but if you listen to our show, you'll hear I get on these kicks where I can't get off it. And this album is like 45 minutes long or so, and I've probably listened to it 300 times this week, just over and over. Wow. So it's just a very, very, the whole thing about it is unique, and I like to think about those things when I'm listening. It's not just, this is Ozzy doing Black Sabbath live. Like, there's more to it than that. So that's what we do on my show. Like I always start, we rotate through. So seeing as this is your shindig, Richie, we'll go to you next. What are your Jammy Jams?
Funny enough, I have been on a British heavy metal kick this week. So yes. I have a couple of them. Judas Priest's Painkiller album, which is a phenomenal fucking album. If anybody out there is only familiar with British Steel or anything before it, or if they're familiar with Turbo, which I love Turbo. That's a great fucking album. But when Painkiller came out, Judas Priest just straight up was just like, okay, we're not doing the synths anymore, and we're here to melt your goddamn face off. And that's exactly what it did. And for an album that didn't have, like, everybody's so used to, like, you got another thing coming, or, breaking the law, all that shit. This is just like kicking you in the balls and just fucking rocking. It's something you put in and you listen from front to back, and it's just metal as fuck all the way through. And it came out in 1990, so it was.
I was just gonna say, you've heard my show. You know I'm a champion of. I even hate the term hair metal because I love all of that music, and I feel like hair metal is like a derogatory term, right?
Yep.
But the balls to put out Painkiller when on the radio is nothing but a good time to be with you, more than words, and then Judas Priest is like, here's all the metal.
Suck our collective dick. This is all the metal.
Yeah.
Like literally, Rob Halford does not give a shit.
I was gonna say maybe not that choice of words.
No, Rob does not give a fuck. And for anybody out there, suck my dick if you're a fucking Rob Halford hating son of a bitch, because that is still one of the best metal vocalists that has ever existed.
Brother, I heard Axl Rose tell a story one time when it came to light about Rob Halford, and Axl Rose said, he goes, I didn't care. He's like, what do I care what Rob does in his free time? He goes, but I had a friend of mine, this is Axl Rose speaking. Axl goes, I had a friend of mine that was like, oh man, I wore that Ram It Down shirt for like a year.
Shit. And god damn it. And yeah, dude, so I was bouncing between that album and Power Slave by Iron Maiden, which is another fantastic fucking album. I'm a big Maiden Priest fan, like through and through. And just going through those two records back and forth, I was like, God, they just don't make rock music like this anymore. And
they really don't. Yeah.
And then on the other side of the coin, I have one more, just because you were talking about Sabbath. I was actually digging on Dio's live album with Tony and Geezer, and I want to say Vinny, the drummer, was Live Evil.
Live Evil.
Yeah.
You're right.
God, I didn't even know that live album existed until I got the Apple Music plan, and motherfucker, it was so cool hearing Dio sing Ozzy's material, because I'm a big time fan of Dio Sabbath. Like, The Mob Rules is probably one of my favorite records.
Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, yes, those two albums just fuck so hard. And Live Evil was a surprise for me. So I was just fucking jamming the shit out of it all week.
Yeah,
so,
Live Evil is, if you're an Ozzy fan, you look at it and you go... you know, like, yeah, you know, but if you came into it from Dio, you're like, oh, and he's doing, I equate it to, and I'm going a little inside baseball here, but if you listen to Van Halen live right here, right now, right, where it's Sammy doing Sammy, and then also he's like, and just for some of you, here's Jump and Ain't Talking About Love, you know, like,
right.
Yeah. And if you come into that record as a Dave fan, you're like, oh, how many times can he sing about love? And oh, look, he bothered to do Jump, you know, and Live Evil is the same way, where if you come into it as an Ozzy fan, you're not going to take it the right way at all. And as a sidebar, I have a friend of mine who met Ronnie James Dio one time and had him sign a copy of Holy Diver. And Ronnie James Dio wrote, I have physically seen this record. It says Beast Witches, Ronnie James Dio. And that is the most Ronnie James Dio thing that he could write on a record.
I miss Dio so much. Golly.
I'm sure he had a step stool to reach the table to write it, but still. God damn it. You know, a couple of years ago at that festival in Germany where they did the projection of Dio, people call it hologram, but it's not. I texted a friend of mine and I said, hey, did you hear they used a Pico projector at
Oh God.
See, I'm saying all the stuff I don't say on my own show.
I know.
I think these things, but I don't say them on my own
sitting here
show.
like, yeah, Dio is as short as his last name is long. So good fucking times, man.
He's as tall as his last name is long.
But I'll tell you what. He might have been like short boy, but oh fuck, that dude rocked harder than anybody. God damn.
No, you goddamn right. Yeah, you goddamn right. So coming out of this side of the fence, we got a bunch of English metal coming. Ozzy era Sabbath from me, and then Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and Dio era Sabbath from Richie. Sam, what have your Jammy Jams been? I'm waiting for Sam to be like, you ever heard that song? I'd like to sing the world to sing.
Well, one of the songs on my list is Gordon Lightfoot.
If you could read my mind. Oh. Yeah? Did I just read your mind?
Yeah. What
a great song, though.
It is. And these songs that I've been listening to, and it's kind of twofold. I've listened to them this week, but like in my job, I watch TV, or I have, episodes of shows going on in my headphones while I work. Well, I watch Scrubs a lot. Oh, so fantastic way to have in the background, the Scrubs, plus, you get to a lull, you can watch for a couple minutes and then get back to work or whatever. But I love the music. Like there's music that I've found in shows of Scrubs. I'm like, what in the world? And then I go find it, and now they're on my playlist. So I pulled a few from my playlist that I got from TV shows.
Very quick sidebar. I know both of y'all are big Scrubs guys. You ever watch Cougar Town?
Yes. No, okay. Not as religiously as Scrubs.
Right. I feel like all Scrubs fans are like, I tried with Cougar Town. The music on Cougar Town is fantastic as well. And do you know why? Do you know who picked the music for Scrubs and for Cougar Town? Krista Miller, the young lady who plays Ellie on Scrubs. She picked the music for both series. That's why if you look at Cougar Town, a large portion of the episodes. Awesome. Well, if you look at the episodes, the titles largely come from Tom Petty songs for Cougar Town.
Oh, cool! I didn't even make that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then Scrubs, the Colin Hay influence.
He's on my list 3 times. Any
great drop you've heard on Scrubs that comes from Krista Miller.
Wow, amazing, because I've got Colin Hay, Beautiful World. I love that one. And then I've got Overkill, the acoustic version, and Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. Those are the 3 that I've really been hitting this week. Hey Julie by Fountains of Wayne too. Do you remember Hey Julie and Scrubs?
Yeah,
that's when Mandy Moore.
Oh, that's funny.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. As she's popping popcorn in her mouth at the same time, he finally just loses it.
Is it Julie? Is it funny?
And then the last 2, and the Gordon Lightfoot one was it's from the Blacklist. I've been watching Blacklist too, and that last scene where it's, driving the point horn or a new discovery or whatever. And these two songs, Welcome Home Son by Radical Face.
Okay.
And then If You Could Read My Mind by Gordon Lightfoot.
The Blacklist, I was very indifferent to until, and I feel it's either the first season finale or the second season finale. It's kind of fuzzy for me now. They ended either one of those season finales ended with a montage and Just Breathe by Pearl Jam playing over. And I literally was like, because of whoever picks the music for the show, I am 1,000% in now. Because of, And that Pearl Jam song has one of my favorite lyrics of all time, which is, I'm a lucky man to count on one hand the ones I love, which is such a great lyric. And if you watch The Blacklist, that's very poignant to how the series went. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in season 6 now, so don't screw it up for me. Don't ruin it for me.
The Butler did it. Oh, just so you know, I've already watched it. Yeah, I've already watched the series finale. The Butler did it.
You made me think of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they're playing Death in Clue, and I believe Colonel Mustard did it in study with candlestick.
Hold on. I believe Colonel Mustard did it with the candlestick in the library. No, dude, it was totally Professor Plum.
Yeah, he just gets
Best
up.
of 7.
I fucking love that she just gets up. Sorry, Death, you lose. It was Professor Plum. I said Plum. No way, you said 7. Mustard. Yeah, best of 7. Damn right.
I said Plum. Yeah, best of 7. Damn right.
William Sadler is so fucking cool, dude. Oh my god.
So, to wrap up the segment, this is literally what we do on our show, like exactly what we did just now. Sometimes a couple of us vibe, like Richie and I did not speak about this at a time, and we were both on a British metal thing. And then other times somebody else will bring in something that seems so left field, but everybody else goes, oh my God, I love that song, And then Richie, as a listener, you're telling people how it goes from there, where you go, oh my God, I haven't heard that in forever. Or whatever,
Exactly.
And again, you notice at no point in this segment was it to go, what I'm sick of hearing, because fuck us. You know what I mean? Like, who cares what I'm sick of hearing?
Another F.
Well, I'm saying, though, who cares what I'm sick of hearing? Who cares what you're sick of hearing? You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I run a vinyl group on Facebook, and one of the rules is do not ever shit on anything else anyone else likes. If you see someone post something you don't like, scroll past it and find something you do like, or even better, post something that you love. You don't have to tell people, I'm sick and goddamn tired of hearing this song this week. Here's what I listen to instead of sitting around complaining about listening to other things, So that's what we do with our segment, our Jammy Jams. Y'all have been, y'all could do better than we do at Jammy Jams. That was wonderful.
Fucking A.
We get the Russ's imaginary gold star today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not imaginary. It's very real, my friend.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to hang it up right here.
Mail, then.
Yeah.
It's going right over my shoulder.
I was going to say, both of you, if you would please check under your seats right now.
You know what? If you would have been just so diabolical that you got a hold of our significant others.
Hold on. Richie seems to have had another Rob Halford moment.
I have. I found a drumstick.
Did you know it was there?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, no, well. I totally knew it was there. But, to piggyback off of the vinyl group on Facebook, I was going to make a really dumb joke, but anybody that likes My Chemical Romance will understand. I would go in with the mindset of, you're not going to rain on my black parade, you motherfucker. So...
Yeah.
Which, like,
I bounce people from that group for that. Just like, somebody posts, like, for example, probably my least favorite artist in the history of anything, and I use the term artist loosely, Creed, right?
Yeah.
Very, very, very recently, somebody very unironically posted Creed's greatest hits on vinyl in the group. And they were like, oh my God, I've waited, this was the soundtrack to my youth. What am I going to do? Go in there and crap on it? Like, this guy loves this band. It doesn't matter how much I dislike this band.
Right.
This stuff moves him. You know,
right?
Like all of us can all we want to sit about, like we can laugh all we want to about Creed. If it moves him, who gives a shit how it makes me feel?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I totally thought you were the Swedish chef from the Muppets. Hurdy. That's what I thought you were saying there.
For all 3 years, Scott Stapp was famous. I thought he was the Swedish chef. So we're even.
the Creedish chef, if you will.
This is such an exorcism for me, by the way. This is such an exorcism for me. I never say this stuff on my own show, and now I'm just getting it all out.
You should come back more often.
Richie's gonna sell the audio. People find out your real feelings.
I know. Richie's gonna have every other week. We're gonna have a therapy session on Richie show where I unload all my shit.
It's a whole ass bonus release every week. I can totally dig it.
Oh my god, an OddPods joint, if you will.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Oh shit. Would you like to take over with some?
Richie, back to you.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing. Sam, would you like to get into some shenanigans?
Yeah, you know what? We like to play shenanigans every once in a while. It takes a lot to put together, so we maybe play it every 3 weeks or so. We'll play a round of it, because what it is I'll give you the overview. So when we jump into the actual shenanigans game, you'll know. And Russ, have you played it already?
I haven't played it. I've heard it several times, and my friend Lauren has played shenanigans, and I believe won.
Yeah, she did. Yes,
I have not played shenanigans myself.
And Richie, you haven't either.
No, I have not. This will be initiation.
Okay, so what it is I have 3 sets of headlines, two headlines per set. One is an absolutely true headline. The second one isn't. So what you do is you call shenanigans on which one you think is fake. So you're calling out the fake news, I guess. But you're calling shenanigans on it. So we have an opener for it, and it's time to play shenanigans.
Shenanigans!
Hell yeah.
So, one thing I do want to say is I've got a headline and a descriptor for both the real and fake headline. You're allowed to ask any questions after I'm done with both headlines and both descriptions.
Can I ask which one is shenanigans?
You can, but I can only give you information that's in the description.
Damn it. Okay.
So you can ask anything, but I will give you an answer based on what is in the description.
Sam will call shenanigans on your shenanigans, basically.
Yeah. It's pretty shenanigan proof. Okay. All right. So headline 1 of set 1, Samsung space selfie satellite crash lands in Michigan couple's yard. A Michigan couple was shocked to investigate a loud noise outside their home and find a Samsung space selfie satellite had crash landed in their front yard. That's the first headline and description. Second headline. Bar made from recycled toilet paper and paper towel rolls coming to Las Vegas. People who are in on saving the world will soon be able to do so while they party. Let it roll. A pop-up bar will open up in the Las Vegas Strip in early April. The bar will feature tabletops and bar tops and their chair seats constructed from recycled and compressed paper towel and toilet paper rolls. Those are your 2 headlines, gentlemen. Which one do you call shenanigans?
This is so hard for me because I worked for Samsung for a very long time, and at the risk of opening up Richie's show to libel, it's not a good place to work. So that sounds sounds like such a thing. But I also love Las Vegas and go there 2 or 3 times a year. And that also sounds like a Las Vegas thing. Yeah. I'm sorry, Richie. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I was going to pull a fucking J. Jonah Jameson reference from Spider-Man where he says, "No, it's not. If it's spoken as slander, in print, it's libel."
Yeah,
it's just so stupid. Yeah. Like it just made me think about that. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, if you got another 20 minutes of your episode, I can tell you how bad of a place Samsung is to work, but I won't.
We're playing a game now, Russ.
Wait.
Whom is supposed to go first on this, Sam?
You know what? Let's start. According to what I'm seeing on the video right now, Russ, you're next. So we'll have you kick it off, and then Richie will kick off the next one.
This is so hard. I'm going to say Samsung screwed up, and that's real. So I'm calling Shenanigans on Las Vegas does a lot of dumb things, but I don't think they do that dumb thing.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, Richie, and you feel free to explain, talk your way. You know, I've actually had people talk their way into a different answer than what they intended to.
I'm gonna work myself into a shoot, brother. So
that's not gonna work for me, brother.
No, it's not gonna work for me, brother. I think I'm gonna go opposite of Russ and call Shenanigans on Samsung, only because I have seen shit built out of recycled things, and I'm not even surprised at the shit they come up with anymore. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with the Las Vegas headline and description being the true one.
So you're calling Shenanigans on the Samsung space selfie. Russ, you're calling Shenanigans on the bar made from recycled toilet paper and paper towel rolls.
Correct.
The fake story was the bar made from recycled toilet paper.
Right on.
So toilet paper rolls. Samsung Europe previously announced the Space Selfie Project, which allowed customers to send their selfies into space to be combined with a photo of the Earth. The satellite was hauled away by the company representatives, and Samsung said in a statement emailed to the Detroit Free Press that Samsung Europe's space selfie balloon blew off course during a planned landing Saturday. Also included in the statement was, "Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please hang up and try your call again."
I'm just sitting here watching Russ like just fucking facepalm without even facepalming. It's the best shit ever.
Because this is Samsung shit. You know, this is just Samsung shit.
So yeah, that happened, and I forgot to mention. I try to make a funny joke at the end of the real description article. So.
Oh yeah, I could tell that was great.
Now, here's a fun fact that I've never shared on my own show, and I don't believe I've ever told you to in real life, or IRL, as the kids say. I was involved in a Samsung event once that did involve selfies. We were at a Guinness Book of World Records event at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, California. Yep. The Rock was there. Juliana Hough, who from Dancing with the Stars. She's a very tiny individual, but she was a total sweetheart to us. And Nick Cannon was there as well. And we took the world's most selfies in 1 hour. And that was the highlight of my entire career at Samsung. And then, by the way, it turns out 6 years later, the satellite came crashing down from it.
It got overloaded with selfies.
Evidently a balloon too.
But yeah, that's a fact. I was involved in that, and everybody involved in that was very nice, except for one person whom I mentioned but didn't say that they weren't nice. So run that back and give Super Media Brothers a couple more minutes of listen time if you want to know who I said was super nice, and one person I said I did not say. It might be the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment today. But go on.
That was not
a very nice person.
Wow, that's so fucking crazy because
he could have been having a bad day.
Just say that. That's what I'm gonna go with too. Only because I personally know folks that have met said person and were just gushing about how fucking humble that man is, and I'm like,
Steven Tyler said one time that, oh, when you go up to someone and you go, "Oh, I just need 1 second of your time," Steven Tyler was like, you need to understand that that's, I need 1 second of your time in every minute of every hour of every day that I'm awake, you know? And so you're going to catch me on an off time. So I am more than willing to think that we caught him on an off day, which is fine. And by the way, it wasn't like, don't look at me, don't touch me. It wasn't that type of thing. It was just kind of like, wow, these other two people are far nicer than you. You know,
right.
But the point was that I was involved in a Samsung selfie situation. And so I was like, it sounds to me like they would screw that up somehow.
Right.
But yet you got it, I think, based on that criteria of in your mind.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Russ, you're 1 for 1. Richie, you're 0 for, but
I want this on the board for when I come back to 500 section. I want this on the board. I don't want to hear anything about how, that didn't count because you were on Super Media Brothers. No, I'm on the board as having won Shenanigans, and I want that on the board.
Richie, I believe that's a shot across the bow because he just said he won.
That's fine with me. I mean, technically, this is a total like.
We only played 1 round though.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good.
I got 1 more.
Yeah, let's do this. We can tie it. And then you can put us both on the board.
To quote Neil deGrasse Tyson, we got a badass here. I didn't know we had more than one. My bad, dog. Well, watch me spectacularly fail as we go into the second one now.
I don't know, dude.
For having been a jerk.
I ain't mad.
I want to say this real quick. If anybody's listening to this right now and they're like, wow, that guy's really funny, I want to listen to Infectious Groove. This is not the guy you're going to get on my show. Like I am way more serious on my own show.
That's right.
Than I'm being here now.
That's right.
I'm literally letting it all hang out because I'm hanging out at my buddy's house.
That's it. Yeah.
There we go.
It's a Super Media Bros exclusive. Yeah.
It's just this the fly on your wall, Richie, is wearing a wire, so everybody gets to hear Russ.
And the fly on my wall is shaped like a Pikachu. So that's the thing. For those of you out there that are obviously just listening, we're doing, FaceTime bullshit here, and there's a giant Pikachu blanket on my wall, just hovering over my shoulder like a fucking sleep paralysis demon.
He looks like he's attacking you.
Yeah, it does. It looks like he's jumping you. Yep.
That didn't make it any better. For those of you who can't see what's going on, Richie just raised his camera and now it looks like he's absolutely like I should call 911 and say, excuse me, a friend of mine is being attacked.
Watch out.
Yeah. The call is coming from inside the Pikachu house.
Shit.
Okay. So let's do round 2.
Yeah. Let's since I made the heavy assumption that there was one.
Usually for a full game we play 3 rounds, but we're only doing 2. Okay. Set 2. Headline 1. Chipmunk wearing Woody vest found as culprit in ringing an Ohio couple's doorbell and running away. A Coldwater, Ohio couple had been having issues with phantom doorbell ringer. With the help of the surveillance camera, the couple found it was a chipmunk, but not just any chipmunk, one that was wearing a vest from a Toy Story Woody doll.
I'm fucking crying.
Headline 2. 3 Indiana judges suspended for drunken brawl outside White Castle restaurant. 3 Indiana state judges have been benched without pay after a wild alcohol-fueled fight outside a White Castle restaurant in Indianapolis that ended with 2 of the judges getting shot. Those are your 2 headlines, gentlemen. Which one do you call Shenanigans? Richie, you get to start it.
God, I was laughing so hard through both because that shit is hilarious. I was laughing so hard through both of them. I'm like, I've got those fucking like dots just in my eyes, just oh fuck.
I am marveling at how wonderful. I want both to be true.
I do too.
You both know I'm not into sports, and there's that T-shirt that non-sports people have that says, "I just hope both teams have fun." I want badly for both of these headlines to be true.
I just want both of these stories to have fun.
By the way, side note, Sam, is that ever a thing? Do you ever include trick questions where no, both of them are true?
No.
Damn.
I have not yet to this point. Let's say it this way.
Okay. It sounds to me like that's a forthcoming feature.
Unless I'm holding back and you ruin yet another thing because Gordon Lightfoot blew my mind that you knew that song.
Oh my. Anyways, go on.
No. Not that you knew that song, that you knew that was the song. Because I know other Gordon Lightfoot songs, and I guess maybe that, I don't know. But anyways.
I want so badly for Richie to make a call on this.
Fuck. Okay, so this is further proof that, because one of these stories is absolutely true, that the Midwest is just as fucking wild as you would think. I've visited a couple times and I love it. So
lived in the Midwest my whole entire life. It's weird.
That's what I'm saying is, not only do I want both of these to be true, I absolutely want the Chipmunk one to be a fucking Disney Pixar movie, because that is some cool shit.
Yeah.
Let's get Chip and Dale with the Woody vest from Toy Story just fucking doing shit.
And call it Ding Dong Ditch.
That's right. And then the White Castle story just sounds like a Harold and Kumar sequel that never got made and should be fucking being made. God damn it. Fuck, this is really hard.
Yeah, I'm just a spoiler, Richie. I'm going whatever way you go.
I know.
Whatever way you go, Richie. My heart is with you right now. Whatever you choose, I'm going with you on this.
Okay, so only because it happened in Indiana, I gotta go with the judges drunkenly beating the shit out of each other in a White Castle. I don't know if it was on site at the White Castle, but in my brain, they're beating the shit out of each other over some fucking cheeseburgers in the White Castle parking lot because they're drunk and they obviously want drunk food. So I think that's real.
Are you seeing like powdered wigs and crave cases flying in the air?
Yes. Yes. Like one of them even probably is beating the shit out of another one with the wig. Again, as much as I would love the Chipmunk one to be true, and I could see it possibly being true, it just feels a little far-fetched with the vest thing. So I've got to go with the drunk White Castle thing because, again, like...
Hashtag I stand with Richie.
That's right. I stand with Dick. I stand with Dick. Yes.
Okay, so you're both going with the Indiana judges being real. So the Chipmunk, you're calling both calling Shenanigans on the Chipmunk story.
As much as we don't want to.
Yeah.
Neither of us want to call Shenanigans on a Chipmunk wearing a vest from a Woody doll. Neither of us want to call Shenanigans on that. But we are. Yes.
Well, you both are correct.
Oh, yes.
Fuck yeah.
3 Indiana judges suspended for drunken brawl outside White Castle restaurant. In an order issued Tuesday, the Indiana Supreme Court said the judges deserved unpaid suspensions ranging from 30 to 60 days because their actions were not merely embarrassing on a personal level. They discredited the entire Indiana judiciary. The order said the trio were out socializing the night of April 30th ahead of a professional conference and kept the party going into May 1st with a 3 a.m. trip to a local strip club that was closed when they arrived.
Just real quick, I want to say something. And again, Richie, you're saying if it's spoken, it's not liable. This also sounds like Samsung stuff. But
they then walked to a nearby White Castle, and a car containing 2 people yelled something at the 3 judges. One of the judges flipped off the car, and a confrontation ensued.
As you do.
After a verbal confrontation, the dispute became physical. The judges who instigated the altercation with her giving the birds said that she didn't recall doing it, but was sure it could have happened because she is a mouthy drunk. She also stated that this would have never happened if the strip club was open.
Oh well, yeah.
Blame the strippers.
I think we can all. I think we can all agree that the blame here lies with the strippers. Absolutely, Richie. Right. I think, yeah.
There was a taste of Shenanigans there.
And with a side of White Castle. Oh.
That's right.
I got to say, the closest thing, because I've only ever had White Castle in the frozen box or whatever.
Oh,
but hold on.
You best be getting that when you come into Ohio.
Oh, I am. Trust me. We have Crystal Burger around here, though.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the same fucking thing, but fresh. So
yeah.
They've got White Castle has right now going on, like they have the special burger. Like they're, they've always got a feature or whatever, and it's the 1948 or the 58 or whatever year they opened.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 times thicker than a normal patty that comes on a slider.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it is phenomenal.
So this episode is going to drop literally the day that I'm driving home from Ohio. So, man, that White Castle sure was tasty, and that burger was fucking delicious.
Nice.
Because I'm going to be fucking like hunting that shit down. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, just to let you know, Super Media Bros is also brought to you in part by Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. You can browse articles from topics that you choose and just start playing them. You can follow any topic that you like, such as sports, technology, business, science, or even Hollywood celebrity stories. It'll find the latest articles and read them to you aloud, which is really awesome considering most of us are on the go now more than ever. You can also explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries around the world. Our podcast, Super Media Bros, is on there too. You can download and use Newsly for free from newsly.me, your iOS or Android. Or you can use the link in the description below and use our code SMBcast and get a 1-month free premium subscription. That's a 1-month free premium subscription with the promo code SMBcast. With everything on the go, take Newsly with you. All right, and we're back with Sam and Russ, and we're going to call this segment, Why Are You Like This?
So many questions are about to be answered.
Including, why are you like this?
You remember that time?
I'll tell you, I have so many childhood friends that I've made from, I don't know, age 6 on that when they, for a very long time, they've wondered. And I'm going to be like, here's your answer. Just go listen to the new Super Media Brothers.
Present it to them on a platter. You know?
Here it is. Here is why I'm like this.
Why are you the way you are?
We finna find out.
Be a little more specific.
Basically, what is it that drives us? What are we passionate about the most?
I got you.
Kind of a.
Why are you the way you are?
Yeah, kind of. Let's peel the curtain back a little bit. What are we passionate about? Why are we like this? Why?
Dr. Phil over here, why are you the way you are?
Why are you like this, you narcissistic bitch?
You have friends who love you. Why are you the way you are?
Perfect. There we go.
God damn it! Send them to the ranch.
Yeah, dude, you're so close to JR on that. God damn it!
Oh,
send him to the ranch.
Oh shit! I said, fuck.
He wants to go to the ranch, and you know it.
My God! Oh, look! I'm totally not.
I'll tell you what, King. If he's not mistaken, he's going to go to the ranch. So, anyways, good luck bringing us back in.
That's when I followed wrestling the most, was in that 99 2000, because we did it. We did it as a timer as to when to go out.
Yeah,
because it came on. It was Thursday night. It was on Thursday night and ended at 11. And when wrestling was done, we went out. So we watched religiously and just watched everything that was on. But we used to actually, on that dorm floor, nobody ever locked their doors if they were in their room, unless they obviously didn't want somebody to, they were doing something they shouldn't be. But it'd be like a Tuesday night or something, and all of a sudden somebody would kick our door open and we'd start wrestling matches in their dorm room, back and forth, and we would invade the other wing, because it was kind of like a V You know, so like the stairway was at the V part of it, so there was an east or west wing or the one. So we would always invade the other side.
Fuck yeah.
I swear to God, I'll shut up soon. But in the same era, we all worked at a Best Buy together. Me, Mike, all my buddies. My buddy Sam, you know. And again, I could give both of you his phone number right now and go, hey, text this person. I don't know you, but did Russ rock bottom you through a couch? And in the break room of Best Buy 412, Waterford, Michigan, 412 represent. I rock bottomed my friend Sam through the break room couch, and this motherfucker was like this after I delivered it, was like this out of the cushions, you know, like because it went. We were like, oh yeah, we know how to work shit, you know, like we watch wrestling for 10 minutes. We know how to work,
right?
Know?
I'm a professional.
Like, you know, I do this, and it goes. his fucking ass was like this.
He folded.
I hand to God, I could give this guy's name is Sam. I could give both of you his phone number right now and go, I don't know you, but did Russ rock bottom you through a couch? And Sam will reply, fuck yes, he did.
That makes me want to call him on air right now and just call him like, hey, I don't know you.
Fuck, do you want me to?
No, I was gonna say I would fucking call him. Just
hold on. Wait, just so to set this up, I haven't spoken to Sam on the phone in like a year.
Is he back in Michigan?
Yeah.
So what time is it there?
Oh, it's
11.
Oh God. Yeah, because I'm sitting here going, fuck, dude. He's gonna be so mad if I call him this fucking.
No. If he might not even answer. But yeah, let's try it. Like, are you ready? Do you want the digits?
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. All right, Richie, are you ready?
I'm more ready than Triple H and Shawn Michaels, dude.
Oh.
Hi, you've reached Sam.
Damn it.
Please leave me your name and number, and I will return your call as soon as possible.
Leave him a
have
message.
A wonderful day.
Yeah, hi. You don't know me, but I was just calling to ask if Russ Robinson rock bottomed you through the couch at the Best Buy up there in Michigan. So if you could please return my phone call with that information, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Goodbye.
Dude. Yep. Okay.
God damn it.
I promise you, I rock bottomed him through the couch in the break room of Best Buy 412, Waterford, Michigan.
I believe it. Oh.
You were asking, why are we the way that we are?
I think we literally just covered the entirety of that. But we will fucking get into more of why we are the way we are. Which one of you gentlemen would like to take the helm on this?
I again concede the floor.
Nope,
Sam.
nose goes.
No, we are not playing. We're not playing spoons rules, Sam. You can't just put your finger on your nose and be out.
I already called it.
You were my guest.
Ground rules before.
You know what? I'll take this.
Yeah, you should.
Here's what happened to me. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, which is known for a couple of things. Groundbreaking and incredible music and zero sports. So when I grew up, there was nothing sports ball to relate to at all. In the 80s, the Red Wings were trash. The Tigers were trash except for 84. The Lions were and still are the Lions. And there was just nothing for me to connect to. Okay. And if I had grown up in any other city, I might have just said, well, I'll just latch on to, whatever team I'm supposed to. Okay. But in Detroit, you have, Motown. And Motown is not just a label. It's a whole movement. It's a whole thing that happened in the 60s. It's almost a genre of music unto itself that I had to latch onto, what's going on, ABC, Dancing in the Streets, My Guy, My Girl, all these timeless classics that I had a chance to grab onto as from infancy. And for me, there's 3 major pillars that happened that made me who I am musically. And the first one is I picked up when I was 4. My mom and I went to a Perry drugstore, which is, like a Walgreens or a CVS now. And back in the day, they used to have vinyl records at these stores. And we were checking out, and my mom said, "Oh, you can pick out whatever record you want," figuring that I would go over and pick out a Disney album or whatever at 4, And I went over, and there was a record on the end cap that was Elvis live at Madison Square Garden. And if you see the cover of this album, like if you're listening to this now and you look up, you can just look it up on Spotify. The dude is wearing a jumpsuit and a cape. So he looks like a superhero on the cover of this record, and he looks 7,000 feet tall, And so as a 4-year-old, you're like, well, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen, So I picked up this record and I brought it home. And that thing where years later you come into things where years later you find out about Fleetwood Mac, or years later you find out about Richie, to your point earlier, you find out later about Judas Priest, or Sam, to your point, later you find out what an amazing songwriter Gordon Lightfoot was. In the first 5 songs of this record, Elvis live at Madison Square Garden, this brother covers CCR, Dusty Springfield, The Righteous Brothers, and 3 Dog Night. Like in the opening cuts of this record. So, I come home and I'm like, well, this is a superhero, and I put it on and like I'm introduced to so many different genres right from the top of this record. And he does, Hound Dog and Suspicious Minds and all that other stuff on there. But right off the top, I was just like, I'm hearing more music and more influences than like people take 10 more years to learn, So for like the next 5 years, that's all I listened to was this one record. And I would go out and, find out there was more to Dusty Springfield than just You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. There was more to CCR than just Proud Mary. There was more to 3 Dog Night than just Never Been to Spain. And so on and so forth. There's more to the Righteous Brothers than You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. Or I'm sorry, You've Lost That Love and Feeling. So that carried me through like the first 5 years as a kid to like reach out and learn all of this stuff about music that like no other 5 to 10-year-old is going to learn. And then, when people say, I was born at the wrong time, oh man, I wish I was born in this time. Well, I was born at exactly the right time because I was in 5th grade and a kid showed up to our school who was from a completely different school district and a different type of person than we were used to, if you know what I mean, for growing up in very white Clarkston, Michigan. And he brought with him a cassette of Run DMC Raising Hell. And I had already heard so much else. And then this happens. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't even know you could do this with music. Like I didn't know you could take a thing and reinvent it. And of course, living in sheltered north suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, I didn't know there was another story out there. Right. Like I thought all music was just, she left me or, we're going to have a good time or whatever. I didn't know that there were other stories out there. So then when Run DMC comes along and tells me this whole other story, it was like this other peg to the table, like, wow, this blew my mind. And then a couple of years later, Pink Floyd was putting out a new record. And I had no clue about Pink Floyd at all. No idea about progressive rock. No, it didn't even cross my mind. I was already blown away by what I knew. And Pink Floyd put out a new record, and MTV did an entire weekend of Pink Floyd. And I saw the edited for TV version of the movie The Wall, and heard a lot of songs for the first time in my life, like Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Another Brick in the Wall, The Happiest Days of Our Lives, Comfortably Numb. And it was the same feeling that I had about Run DMC that I had about Elvis, where each time I was like, I didn't know you could do this. Like, I didn't know this was a thing that you could do. And those three things together, like, opened up my mind to anything and everything. The best way I can equate it is when we went through the 90s and people were very, very, very siloed. If you were a grunge fan, you were a grunge fan. If you were still hanging on to Poison and Mr. Big and Extreme, then that's what you were. If you liked rap or gangster rap or whatever, that's what you were. I was the only person I knew that was like, hey, this is all good. You know, like literally bring it all to me. And through the night, Richie, you and I have had offline discussions about bands like KMFDM, you know, German Industrial. I was the one guy that friends of mine knew that they could go, hey, I need to bend your ear about this, you know, because they were like, you'll listen to anything, you know? So, you know, those three things for me turned me into, I will listen to anything at all. And Roger Waters actually said something way back in 1972 that I didn't come into till probably the late 90s, where he said, all that matters in the end is if the finished article moves you or not. That's all that matters. And that's how I try to live. Like, if it moves me, great. Not to do a cheap plug, but we just put a video out on the Infectious Groove vinyl channel today about hype stickers on albums and stuff. And part of it was the Wilson Phillips album, right? Like, Hold On, Release Me, you know, that shit moves me. And I don't care if it moves anybody else. Like, if anybody else is listening to this right now and they're like, really? Hold On moves you? Yep. Hold On by Wilson Phillips moves me, you know? And somewhere along the way, I just was like, that's all that matters, is if something moves you, nothing else matters at all. And so, you know, that's why I am the way I am. And in a way, it's easy to say, oh, well, I owe it all to Elvis. But it's not Elvis. It's the fact that he knew to do those artists then, you know, and like opened the doors for me. So, and again, one more point. I want to relabor this point. When people say, "Oh, I was born at the wrong time," I was born at exactly the right time. I couldn't be more grateful for having accidentally bought that Elvis album then, and hearing, having a kid move into my really, really closed-in community. And play Run DMC for me. And I couldn't be happier that Pink Floyd happened to do a thing years later that opened me up to the entirety of the rest of it, because those three things literally made me the way I am. Well, I will listen to anything. And if it moves me, awesome. And if it doesn't, I don't think it's trash, but if it moves you, great. So that's why I am the way I am.
I think you're right. You were born at the right time, because I go back to the sports aspect where you're talking about Detroit. Not at the time you were being influenced, didn't have any teams. If you'd have been born in the 2000 where you were growing up in now, you would have open access to any team whatsoever. So if baseball did pique your interest just enough to where you latched on to, say, the Twins or whatever, you know, and all of a sudden you've got a team to follow there, you know, it pulls you away from what you could be finding music wise.
Yep.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, it's weird because, like, I didn't grow up being a big sports guy. Like, and I'm still not, you know, to a certain extent. Like, I'll watch, like, the Super Bowl if it's on. I'll catch a football game. I mean, I like hockey and basketball. Those are the sports that I liked growing up. But in Louisiana, when I was born and when I was, like, growing up, all we had was the fucking Saints. We didn't even have a basketball team because they moved to Utah where they don't allow music, but that's a different story.
Did you just do a basketball?
That was a basketball reference, yes.
You goddamn right.
Yeah.
You said no more Journey psychouts. Come on.
I know, but I'm running out of ideas.
Well done. They moved to Utah where they don't allow jazz.
Yeah, where they don't allow music. The Oakland Raiders moved to LA and then back to Oakland. Nobody seemed to notice.
Nobody seemed to
notice. I love it. But like, seriously though, like over here, if you liked football, then there you go. Yeah, I mean,
When you said you're not into sports, I did my best to censor myself, but now it's coming out. Richie, you're not into sports, but you like sports entertainment. That's the best Vince I have for you. I guarantee that you like sports entertainment.
Yes, because you see, wrestling is wrestling. It's wrestling. We're not in the wrestling business. We're in the sports entertainment
We don't
business.
do wrestling. Yeah. Jesus. Oh, man. I love me some Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but good Lord.
I know.
You know what? In so many ways, Vince Kennedy McMahon is a guy I want to be. And in so many ways, he's not.
Mm-hmm. Sidebar, absolutely go listen to his interview on the Pat McAfee podcast. It was very recent. He even made a t-shirt about a quote that he had on there.
Do you guarantee we should listen to it?
Yes, I do. He said, if you think that I'm an asshole, then congratulations. You're probably right. And it's a t-shirt now.
That is so wonderful.
Yeah. But it's a really good listen. I think it's like a 2.5 hour interview with him, and he's very open, very candid, very, very candid. And it was good. But
I love Pat McAfee.
I do too. He's very entertaining. It was just so weird because I remember him getting signed with World Wrestling Entertainment, and I was just kind of like, isn't that the fucking field goal fucking sports guy? Isn't that the same Pat McAfee? And then, dude,
the punter that got arrested in the
White Castle parking lot for fighting over drunk food.
It was in a White River in Indianapolis. It was also in Indianapolis. He was drunk.
God damn it!
So you know what? You guys are a little off the rails. So I feel like I'm okay to go off the rails. Here's my main problem with sports, and y'all both have kids. There are, and I want to say this in advance, there are so many examples in music where I could go, do not live your life that way. Okay. But I think we can all agree that the biggest story in sports in the last 30 years is a double homicide in Brentwood. And I can't say to my kid, oh, yep, you should totally be like those. Like, you know what I mean? That's why here now today, why I still have a problem with sports. I didn't mean to bring the whole thing down just now.
No, I'm actually sitting here thinking about how sad that is because being a sports fan that I am, there are a lot of like really good stories coming from sports as well.
Okay. Why isn't that rising to the top?
I don't know. And that's, and we do actually, I have Big 10 plus 4 and we do a headline segment at the end of every show. And a lot of times we try to find like that good feel good story.
Good.
To where
I feel like we should see more of that, right? Mm-hmm. Like my son is 16 years old. He adores the Red Wings. Okay. And Steve Yzerman is now their GM, right? Mm-hmm. And I have told my kid, I'm like, if I want you to look up to anybody in sports ever, that's the guy. Like Stevie Y has always done everything right. He's always been a stand-up guy. You never hear any, he never, and I don't mean to make light, but like he never beat anyone. He never had a DUI. He's never been involved in any.
And you're not saying that he's flawless, but it just never was anything that went into the. He never did anything publicly that would have shamed his character.
So I always say that to my kid. I'm like,
absolutely.
If you're going to be in hockey, please, dear God, keep looking up to number 19.
Well, and here's an example that we covered. I covered in one of my headlines was there's a kid, and gosh, it's so weird to say that he was drafted in the NFL in draft just a couple weeks back, but he's a kid. He's 22. I was at college myself when he was born, so he's a kid. But he went to the University of Iowa and they just started name, image, and likeness, where athletes can start making money on who they are, the fact that they play a sport. And since the NCAA had been making billions upon billions every year, they finally got to the point where they allowed name, image, and likeness. And he got paid $30,000 for his name, image, and likeness, and he donated it to the Children's Hospital there on campus at Iowa.
Yep.
And there's a little side or backstory to that is the Children's Hospital. The one side of the hospital you can oversee into the football stadium, and they did that on purpose so kids that are there for cancer treatment and stuff like that, they can watch the games while they're there.
Yeah,
and
I want to hear more of that and less of elevator stories.
There's even more.
Yeah,
there's even more.
Yeah. And that's what you do. And not to work this into a shameless plug, but that's what you do on your show, right? Yeah. And it's not just sports related, but you focus on more of the positive and humanity.
The one I'm talking about here is what we do that on Big Ten Plus 4.
Big Ten.
So, but we do keep it. I mean, don't get me wrong. We talk, we criticize.
Sure.
But it's a little bit different in the aspect of we're dealing with an entity that is kind of.
Here's the difference. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm talking to both you and Richie right now. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing with sports: it's statistic related. You either won or you didn't, right? You either ran for this many yards or you didn't, right? And insert stat here. Okay.
Correct.
With music, it's art.
Sure.
And there's here's what I always say, and we're going to come back to how I always shit on Creed, because Creed is the running joke on our show. So here's my thing. There is no quantity where art is concerned with quality. Okay. You can say, and by the way, I'm about to expend all of my sports knowledge right now. In the early 90s, I know that there was a whole thing between Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders. Okay. For who was the better running back. With that, you can quantify that, right? You can say Emmitt Smith ran for this many yards. Barry Sanders ran for this many yards. And I don't care who was their quarterback or who was on the offensive line or whatever. This is the end of the discussion is this person ran for this many yards, right? With music, you can't just say, well, that sold so many records because, and so that makes it great, right? And the reason why you can't say that is because if you say that, then Creed is the greatest band of the 90s. Right?
Yep.
Because they sold more records than anybody else, right? So Richie, I'm going to speak directly to your household right now. You love Octoon Baby, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that record ain't shit. Do you know why?
Because Creed sold more albums than it did.
Because Human Clay by Creed sold 1 million more records. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't do that with music. So that's why with Sam, when you say we criticize, it's because you can. What you're talking about is quantifiable, right?
To a point.
With art, you can't do that.
I would argue a little in the aspect of, I would argue and could be considered if I was debating Walter Payton as the best running back ever to play.
He also, by the way, did the Super Bowl shuffle.
He actually wasn't there on the original day of taping. So if you actually watch the video, you can see that he's superimposed.
Oh, I couldn't tell. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah. Well, but my point is you can't take the yards because he's no longer the all-time leading rusher in the NFL history like he was when he retired.
Right.
So he is no longer that Emmitt Smith is. Well, right. Then you could argue, so there is, I don't disagree that you're right in the aspect of that there is quantify, or there's quantity, you can see numbers. So those are the basis behind your arguments. But then there are those non-tangible, non-stat things, I guess. Because
what I'm saying is there's a reason why you can talk more about this is better than that because of stats.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whereas,
absolutely.
We all agree earlier. I think we can all agree Higher is the worst song ever recorded by anybody ever.
Yeah, and you know,
and you take me higher.
He tried at one point to legally change his name to Scott Stats because of his stats in the music industry, but that didn't fucking work, did it?
Yeah. But we all agree though, Sam, what I'm saying is, Sam, you won't break someone's heart by going, these are the stats, right? But I might break someone's heart by going, Higher is the worst song ever recorded, because somebody might be like, hey, we thought we would never have a kid, and science told us no, and we tried so many times.
This song
and we
was
had,
playing.
and then we had a kid, and that was playing. You know what I mean?
You want to hear? This is okay. Can I tell a story?
Yeah.
And this is, I don't believe that I've told many people this story.
Poor Richie, but go on.
We tried to have kids, my wife and I, and there was some fertility stuff and everything that we went through. We did the in vitro way, and so you have to provide a sample, right? Okay, so I had to go into the place to give a sample, and the song "Love Train." Everybody around the world, join hands.
Did you have a Scrubs moment where you're like,
well,
it's a love train.
But I was getting ready to do, the sample. Every time I hear that song, and I just look at my wife and just smile, because every time that song comes on, I think about being at that place.
Richie, as a special gift to you, I'm not going to ask the follow-up question that immediately came into my mind. I will pass it back to you instead.
No, I want you to ask.
Sam, when it's time with your wife, do you say that out loud? The love train's coming.
Zing, even better than I thought.
Oh, that was a beautiful follow-up question.
Here comes the love train.
June.
I've got a conductor's hat.
Are you sure Tom hat? Thomas had never seen such bullshit in his life.
So, Richie, did we adequately answer the question?
I don't think I ever did.
The way we are?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty fucking sure we did.
Sam, I feel like you gave more of an answer than I ever could. Holy shit.
You know what the kicker is, Russ? I had two other things that before we got off onto the really deep trail train here.
Yeah.
Well, and
the balls deep in
the love train here. We did the whole bickering about who went first. I totally should have went first, because mine wasn't nearly my passion isn't nearly as eloquent.
Well, as according to the love train, you did come first.
Oh shit!
Please, Sam, drop your load on us now.
Okay.
I promise you, I'm saying everything I've ever wanted to say on my own show.
But the second one was
Sam, drop a number 2 on us.
Drop number 2. Have you guys ever been to Uranus?
For those of you out there not in the know, Sam has been to Uranus countless times.
Yeah, I've been to Uranus. Oh shoot! It's rained while I've been in Uranus. I might have.
Who amongst us haven't had to wear a raincoat?
It's been hot. It's been hot and sweaty in there when I've been to Uranus. Have
you bought fudge in Uranus?
I've had my fudge packed in Uranus. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that wasn't at all what that point 2 was. Point 2 was the killer thing is we had that conversation, and you know what my passion is? Russ?
Go on.
Any idea?
Teaching.
No,
I'm going to say teaching.
It's sports.
You got me. I've been dealing with this for 30 years. You got me with the sports. You people in your sports.
I didn't grow up in a place that was as I grew up basically in the middle of the cornfield. So, it was one of those and I was 6 years younger than my middle sibling. So while he did a ton to include me as much as possible, he still was growing up, and so I had a lot of time on my own. And the best thing when you're not really, in deep into music, because, I had sports teams and, things like that, was I went out and played sports in my yard all the time. And I always was able and doing like play by play. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I would do play by play. So that then has led me to wanting to start a sports podcast, which the 500 Section Lounge was 500 Section Sports when we started. And so we talked sports for the first, 10 or 12 episodes, and it was great. But like I mentioned earlier in the show is we didn't just have sports guests. So we wanted to hold on to that sports route and then move to a lounge setting. And so, and I've even started a second podcast, and it's a sports podcast. So, I mean, I can see myself being able to talk about sports, but here's the thing though too. I'm not saying anything about, but both of you have had negative statements about sports, and I'm not at all angry about it. That's the great thing is I can love sports and still be friends with you guys. Oh my God, we've been recording for how long? I mean, but here's the thing. Sports is something that it went away for a little while where I wasn't really concentrating too much on it. But then when I wanted to start a podcast, the one thing that stood out that I could talk about for a long time is sports. So, and it's gotten me to where I've got friends that I'm able to talk for 2-3 hours and about basically whatever in the world we want. And I lend that to sports because you guys were sitting there rattling off things, and I'm like, really, I don't remember what it was. Oh, earlier when you were talking about the audio mattering, and I'm sitting there thinking, I could give you the Pittsburgh Pirates 1987 starting lineup,
right? But
I couldn't tell you what in the hell you guys were talking about,
right?
And it takes every kind for the world to go around. So there's no knocking on you guys not wanting to talk about sports, but I love them. I can sit for hours and watch a golf tournament, but my big thing is Harry Carey, growing up, Cubs announcer, Harry Carey told stories on the radio. I didn't have cable to where I could watch all the Cub games on WGN back when I was growing up. So I had to listen to the radio, and Harry Carey would come on for 3 innings when growing up and on WGN. And he would tell just half the time you didn't know what was going on, except for the color man would say, hey, and there's a ball, or whatever, because Harry would start telling stories, and I loved listening to it. And now the Cubs have Pat Hughes, and he's much better at telling what's going on in the game. But then also, he tells story. I mean, you have a conversation basically. And Russ, I totally have done that with Pat Hughes listening to a Cubs game. I would answer his question or answer something he said, and so that's where the passion comes from. I love, he describes, he'll talk about the Cubs take the field. They're in their blue tops and gray trousers, and he'll describe the uniform. Blue ball caps with a red C. He goes into the details, so he paints the picture for you while he's telling you what's going on. It is a different type of art that I absolutely am just in love with, and I think it's the broadcasting or the storytelling portion of the sports. So that's why I think even like the headlines where to finish that story, the University of Iowa Hospital butts up against the football stadium. And there's a great thing that just started here. I want to say 3 seasons ago or something. At the end of the third quarter of every home football game, the entire crowd turns to the hospital and waves hello to them.
That's rad. That's right. I wish I heard more about that.
Yeah. And see, that's why I'm passionate about sports. You know, I love the competition portion of it. I was decent at it when I was growing up. I've coached for many, many years. So I love sports in other aspects, but I love that connection, that human connection that people can have while participating in sports.
And to bring it back to you, Richie, you know, with what we talked about with sports entertainment, from Bret Hart putting his sunglasses on a kid at ringside to Sean or Paul breaking character and hugging, you know, somebody at ringside, you're just like, that's there, you know, that humanity is there. Mm-hmm. And just for me, I see it more in music than not. And one other thing I want to make clear about, there are plenty of POSs in music. Holy cow! There are plenty of POSs in music. So
that's the kicker. The very bad sports stories come out always.
Yeah.
Whereas
unfortunately,
the good ones like the kid that got drafted from Iowa, you know what he did with what he was able to raise $30,000. That's not a small amount of money for a college kid, and he donated it completely. That is an amazing story.
Yeah. So Richie, I feel like the collective answer to why are you the way you are is passion. Like that we're both passionate about what we do.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you know, because I could sit here and retell, you know, my story growing up. And I think a lot of listeners, like consistent listeners or people that have been on Super Media Bros since the very beginning, you know what I came from. But if this is your first episode, to make a very long story short, the way that I am is kind of crazy because I feel lucky in the fact that my family, like from the time that I was, I think 4 years old until I want to say 10 or 11, my family owned a fucking video store. Like, so I got to like be around film and video games constantly. And on top of that, my father was a musician, like a gigging musician. So I grew up around him practicing, like doing band practice all the time with his band. And I got interested in drums whenever I was 8 years old, and I would just kind of fuck around on them, but I didn't get serious until I was about like 11 or 12. And here we are. I'm going on 37 years old next year, and I will technically have been playing drums for about damn near 30 years in a couple of years. And I play like guitar and drums, keyboard, bass, fucking mandolin, and I was in choir my entire time in high school. And you know, I just equated to art. You know, and my dad was in radio for fucking years too. On top of it, so there's film, television, music. Playing music as a, you know, also and listening to it, and then podcasting, which is a derivative of like talk radio and just broadcast in general. And it's all things that I am very passionate about 24/7. There's never really a moment where I'm not thinking of stuff to do for this show. There's not a moment that goes by where I'm not thinking of stuff that I do in my music projects, or a project that I'm currently working on with a friend of mine that it involves like film stuff. You know, the first thing I wanted to be as a child, you know, they ask you in kindergarten, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be an astronaut, you know, because it was like the most literally out there thing. And then when I got older, I was like, oh, I probably really couldn't do that because I'm deathly afraid of heights, and I'm especially afraid of like being that way the fuck up there. And then music came along, and I was like, hey, this. And I knew I would do something with music, you know, whether it was professionally or just playing it. And touring in a band for a few years, I got to meet so many people. I got to meet so many new faces. Like, you know, when you get out of high school, you don't really necessarily stay connected with most of the people that you're there with. And maybe you say hello on social media to them, or maybe you see them at this grocery store or whatever. But like, I got to actually make, you know, friends outside of that. Like once I turned, you know, 18 and got into, you know, my early 20s, I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I made then. And that's a big deal because I feel like, you know, music, above all the things that I'm into, is probably the most important kind of art form in my life. And the amount of people that it literally and figuratively touches is still something that is what I consider to be magic. Like, that's real magic to me. You know, you can go to a magician and see like, oh, this is how you pull that shit off. This is like, here's a peek behind the curtain. Here's how you pull the shit off. And you hear like notes or melody of like somebody could sing something that has nothing to fucking do with anything that I've ever experienced. But if I hear like a melody or a musical composition and it moves me, you can't explain that shit. Like, you really fucking, when you get down to it, you cannot explain it. It just happens and it's fucking magical.
My go-to for that, Richie, song-wise, is "Wish You Were Here," the song by Pink Floyd. So we have 3 people on here, and we don't need to go into it because this is already a long show as it is. But I bet you that one song, "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd, means something wildly different to each of the 3 gentlemen on this program right now, right? And then the guy who wrote it meant it for something wildly different than how any of the 3 of us would take that song. So for me, that's what I hear when you're talking about that magic.
It's very true. Because again, that is the beauty of it. Interpretation is the beauty of that art. It, like, you could be spoken directly to with those, that song in particular, you could be spoken directly to with those lyrics. Maybe it's the guitar melody. Maybe it's the way that Rick Wright plays the keys in that song. Maybe it's the tempo of it.
By the way, it's telling that you went right to Rick Wright, because his key work on that song is a chef's kiss. And most people don't even think about Rick Wright on that song. But one thing I want to touch on with Sam was Sam mentioned sports being an art form, and a lot of people don't think about that. I do, and I wish that came to the forefront more with sports.
Yep.
The art of what they do is astounding, but it's all stats with sports.
Well,
it's you either did run this amount or you did not.
This tells you kind of what you're saying when it comes to being it's an art. Back in, I want to say it was 1990, the Cubs were having a really good season. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire went on their home run thing where they were going after Roger Maris and everything. Sammy Sosa was in a slump. And then when I saw it, I saw on the little ticker on ESPN, they did scoring updates and it showed Cubs 1, Rays nothing. And then it said Sammy Sosa RBI single. Okay. Well, 5 minutes later, they did a score again, or the next time through said score update, and they took the run off. Then it said Sosa ejected, corked bat. Well, he made the comment, he used a cork bat. It's not allowed. You can't alter your bat and then use it in a game, for competition. So he was ejected immediately and everything. And he made the comment that he accidentally grabbed his batting practice bat to try to, he has that for batting practice to hit long home runs or whatever to show off to the crowd, whatever. I called BS on it. And then ESPN talked about it. Those guys know the difference between a half ounce difference weight in their bat. Like the comment was, these gentlemen are playing with bats that they treat better than their wives because that's their tool of the trade. You know exactly the ins and the outs of that tool of your trade. You didn't accidentally grab the bat. Just admit to it. Like that, if half an ounce they could tell you that you could hand them a corked bat and not tell them it's corked, and they'd say, "Yep, that's not right." So, it's an art, and people get caught cheating or doing, whatever. But there's the competition portion of it that you're talking about, Russ, because in music there are no rules. You know what I mean? There are no rules. You however you make it's your art form. Whatever you make is however you made it. There's no rules to it. Whereas in sports, you can't alter your bat, so Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, yeah, those guys are artists because of that significance. If you ever see highlights of or a pitcher saying he wants a new ball and throwing it back, and it's because he looks at it and there's a stitch that's just a little bit uneven that'll throw his curveball off. I want a new ball.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, I agree. They're on that aspect. They're artists at what they do because they put countless hours. That's the kicker is, yeah, they're playing a game, but it's their job. So they have to make it an art, they have to do their own thing, but perfect it. And that's what, yeah. But I love how this kind of played out because like we were all able to talk about what drives us passionately. Like we could show our passion in it because I mean, I right fresh out of yours, Russ, after we said, it was mentioned that the problem with sports, I was able to talk about sports in a passionate way.
Right. For sure. Yep. Exactly. The theory falls over to my show. Like I don't, I started a music podcast because I want to talk about music. Right. But I would never, for lack of a better term, crap on sports because someone somewhere is passionate about that.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I like the most about all of this happening right here. And I think this is probably a good way to draw this to a close, honestly. Whether it's a podcast that talks about music and the passion behind it and the positivity surrounding it, to a show that began as a sports show, spun off into just having conversation with people. And I feel like this particular episode of Super Media Bros is probably going to get that point across. It's just having conversations with people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, because we can all find common ground with other people. It doesn't matter if that person's into sports, music, movies, really anything. I think that's the connective tissue that makes us human. Finding the common ground and just talking.
You're suggesting, Richie, that maybe we should try and find more what we like about each other than what we dislike about each other.
Yes.
It's a radical concept.
It's a novel idea.
It's a crazy play, Cotton. Let's see how this plays out.
Right. Because I come from a place where I've never met a stranger. People use
my wife off all the time in line because I will talk to the cashier. Even if there are 5 people behind me, I will have a 5-minute conversation with the cashier. I don't care because I talk. I don't care what it is. Now there's times that I'm in a hurry, but I still will have some sort of conversation. My wife actually has trained me to when she says, don't speak unless spoken to and stay on topic. It's not an insult. I love that you're able to do that, but we don't have time for it.
Right. Yeah.
So, to quote the late great Chadwick Boseman, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
So, however, we do that here. But yeah, I've never met a stranger, and that has always been, I guess, I want to say like strength, but I think it is a strength in a way. I've been able to I've been able to connect with people. That's what made my time in a touring band that much more enjoyable rather than just, hey, I'm going up there, I'm going to play some songs for you guys with my friends. I want to come out and fucking talk to you. I love talking to people.
Personal connection does a ton because it drops a lot of misconceived notions at first because, I've got my ears pierced and I worked at a Fraternal Order of Eagles when I was 21 or 22 as a bartender, and I didn't wear my earrings and for like the first 6 to 8 months that I worked there. And then one day I forgot to take them out when I went to work, and somebody said, one of the regulars, I didn't know you had your ears pierced. Did you just get that done? I'm like, no, I've had them for, a few years. Well, never seen you in them before. I said, well, I didn't want you guys judging me on how I looked over the person that I am.
Right.
And he said, Well, there are some of us here that would have discounted you pretty quickly, and I'm like, well, and I don't think it's sad. It's just they're changing with the times, So I always try to give some benefit, unless you can tell that it's just a bigoted or racist or whatever type of horrible person that could be. I always try to give the benefit of the doubt first, and then go from there.
Yep.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
This is why we have podcasts.
That's why I've got two co-hosts. They keep me on track a little bit. Not much, little.
Just a bit. But no, I'm the same. I just like talking to people, and
yeah,
gentlemen, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. It's been a fun time.
Yeah, I haven't had this much fun for 3 hours at a time ever. Well, there was that time I was listening to Love Train.
Fuck.
Oh, I haven't shared that with a ton of people, really. We're not recording this, are we?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Gentlemen, where can the fine folks listening, hopefully not at their work desk right now, maybe in their car, maybe in their car, maybe with their earbuds in, jogging around the local football track. Yes, you with the purple Nikes. I'm talking to you directly. God, I hope there's somebody out there jogging with purple Nikes on right now.
For us, you can go right to infectiousgroovepodcast.com, and at the top of the page is every single icon for every app you might use for podcasts. So wherever you listen to podcasts, you can click on the little icon and subscribe to the show there, or you can go to oddpodsmedia.com and find out more about not just us, but Super Media Brothers and 500 Section and all the other shows on OddPods Media.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
Damn,
you know what?
What's a mouthful?
For the 500,
and I wasn't even listening to Love Train.
That was a load. Wow. Whew. For the 500 Section Lounge, you can go to infectiousgroovepodcast.com and click on the icons at the top, and then go into a search and put 500 Section Lounge, because we're there too.
You can go to infectiousgroovepodcast.com and then go to google.com and then search for 500 Section Lounge. Or you can go to oddpodsmedia.com.
There we go. We're on social media. Find us.
And if you want to listen to the Super Media Bros, just use the Bing search engine and then type in the search bar Super Media Bing.
If you want to listen, if right this second you are hearing this and you want to listen to Super Media Brothers, I have good news for you. You are already doing it.
That's it.
You're ahead of the game, especially if you're listening now.
Yeah.
You've listened for a while.
You've done your homework.
You stumbled into it.
and you've not been able to climb out of it. That's the best part, because we have trapped you.
At this point, we consider you not only a friend, but a family member. And I would say that the three of us together can say you have your shit together.
It's true.
I think that's accurate. Yeah.
It's true.
Well,
it's damn true. Visit supermediabrospodcast.com for past, present, and future episodes. Check out all the other podcasts on the OddPods Media Network at oddpodsmedia.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch a static image and listen to us at the same time, and then use your imagination to fill the rest of that shit in.
Think about a love train.
Join hands.
Yes.
Join the love train.
Look, no hands.
Love train. I did think about Scrubs too.
Come follow us on social media. Twitter.com/supermediabros_. Facebook.com/supermediabros. And of course, Super Media Bros Podcast on Instagram. Come look at our stupid pictures. They need to be looked at and hearted and liked and all that good shit. Buy some goddamn merchandise. It is summertime. I am fat as shit. It's hot. I might actually buy our own fucking tank top. No, but seriously, you should buy a t-shirt. They're pretty nice.
Do it.
Sam, Russ, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been a fucking blast. We need to do this again.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having us, brother.
Oh, dude, any fucking time. This may or may not be a 2 or 3 part thing. So if you're listening to this, which is the closing of whatever number episode of this you're on, thank you for getting on this love train of awesomeness.
Hey, Richie.
Hey, Sam.
Richie.
Hey, Sam.
You know something?
What?
This is scheduled to come out right the same week, I believe, as the one where you and I do together for the lounge.
That's right. That's right.
I'm pretty excited.
I am too.
It's already happened. So when you're listening to this, we've already released that. It was a great time.
It was a great time. I'm riding the love train back to the boot.
I can't believe I can't believe Shetland did that.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. Richie, it got us all. It's not just you. It's all of us. We all can't believe it's not butter.
That's true.
So, you know what? I'm still stunned.
I can't believe it's not butter spray. Okay.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that used to say that all the time because of Fabio. Spray. Can't believe it's not butter. Spray. Gentlemen, I so much have to let the dogs out and go the fuck to sleep.
Woof.
Yeah. Richie, God be with you editing this mess, but I feel like this is quality content, so who fucking cares?
Hey, you know what? 3 hours. Play it all, bitch.
Fuck it.
Yep.
So until next week, I've been Richie. And for Sam and Russ, shades on. We're off.
You don't know me, but what you should know about me is that I did in fact get rock bottomed through a couch by one Mr. Russ Robinson. And you should know that it was an epic sell. Enjoy your evening. Happy Memorial Day.